So I'm going to look at LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier and talk about the keys for success for Nuss against Arkansas's defense. So we're going to talk about Arkansas's defense, going to talk about the keys for Nuss, and then in 2-3 minutes, going to look at some film of Arkansas's defense and some film of Garrett Nussmeier. Look at the type of throws, the type of plays that he needs to make repeatedly to have success against Arkansas's defense. So let's talk about Arkansas's defense first. Again, one of the better defenses in the SEC, right? And I know they're coming off that big win against Tennessee, but even the games before that, their defense has played pretty well up to this point. So let's talk about what they want to do defensively. They want to keep everything in front. They want to force the quarterback either to make a mistake or to be confused and not make the right read. And they're very strategic, on their blitzes. So if we go through kind of their game by game, at least their past few games, let's talk about Tennessee first. By far their best game defensively whenever you consider the talent that Tennessee has. I know you had 4 picks against Auburn a few games back, but the talent that Tennessee has in offense, I think, makes the performance that much more impressive. So Tennessee, you had 7 sacks against Tennessee. Only 4 completions from Nico where the ball was thrown 10 yards or more in the air. So really not a lot of vertical not a big vertical threat at all. I think he had 1 completion. The ball was thrown 20 yards or more, and that was at the end of the game when he rolled out and had that big play downfield. But again, only 4 completions. The ball was thrown 10 yards or more in the air, and Arkansas blitzed 30% of his dropbacks, right? Again, they're very strategic when they blitz. Against A&M, they blitz 48% of Marshall Reed's dropbacks. Against Auburn, they only blitz 40-ish%. Against Oklahoma State, they blitz 26% of the quarterback's dropbacks. So it's very strategic when they decide to blitz. Again, they want to keep it in front. They want to confuse the quarterback and either force them to make a mistake like Auburn did, 4 interceptions, or force them to be confused and not feel comfortable pushing the ball downfield like they did against Nico, and they got a ton of pressure on Nico. Now, Tennessee's offensive line is nothing like LSU's offensive line. So Arkansas is about to go against one of the best, if not the best, offensive line men in the country, right? So just to recap Arkansas's defense, they haven't got a ton of pressure this season so far, and they've had a few sacks here and there, but they've done a good job confusing the quarterback. And then against Tennessee is when they really had a ton of pressure. Against A&M, they had 2 sacks. Against Auburn, they had 2 sacks. Against UAB, they had 1 sack. They had 0 sacks against Oklahoma State. So against Tennessee, they had more sacks in that game than those other 4 games I mentioned combined, right? So Arkansas is coming off a huge win at home at their place, so you know they're going to be fired up and tough. So what are the keys for Nuss against a good Arkansas defense who wants to try to confuse you? Well, what I want to see from Nuss is have a faster start than you've had previously. Against Ole Miss, you had a slow start. You didn't really get going until the second quarter. You were down 10-0. Against South Carolina, your other SEC game, you got down, I think, 17-0. So you want to have a faster start and not fall behind or fall as far behind, right? 3-0 is much different than a 10-17-0 type game. So you want to make sure you don't fall behind and have a fast start. So what are the keys to not fall behind? Well, key number 1, I want to get the ball out quickly. I think that's kind of obvious, even though Tennessee or Arkansas hasn't had a ton of pressure besides against Tennessee, and you have a good or great offensive line, so you feel good that you can be protected. I still want to get the ball out quickly to your probably slot receivers, to Anderson, right, to number 0, who LSU fans, y'all go ahead and remind me who that is. Again, we do a lot of SEC quarterback content, so we don't have all the names of receivers and running backs. But get your ball, the balls out quickly to those receivers, right? Key number 2, challenge them vertically. Again, they haven't really given up a lot of deep shots so far. Now, they haven't played, a quarterback as good as Garrett Nussmeier. Now, Nico has a ton of potential, but the quarterbacks they've played, Oklahoma State, Alan Bowman, UAB, Jacob Zeno, Auburn, Peyton Thorne, Hank Brown, A&M, their backup quarterback, Marcel Reed. So they haven't been challenged vertically. So I want to challenge them vertically. Even though they haven't given up a lot of big plays, I want to challenge them vertically. Like we talked about, Tennessee only had 4 completions last game, or the game against Arkansas, where they had the ball was thrown 10 yards or more in the air. Nuss had 4 completions last game against Ole Miss, where the ball was thrown 20 yards or more in the air. Now, he was only 4-16 in those throws, but I still think these receivers could be the most talented receivers that Arkansas faces this year. So challenge them vertically. Try to expand and push the field. Number 3, utilize your legs, play action, or just rollouts to not even help you buy time, but just help the defense get out of position. I always talk about seeing Nuss use his legs a bit more off of play action, off some design stuff. Then number 4, probably have to make some tough NFL style throws. Like the throw to tie up the game against Ole Miss this weekend, was it Anderson? I believe Anderson. That throw, if you look from the behind the center footage, was insane. Like that's a next level throw. So I think you're going to have to make several of those type of throws against Arkansas. We're going to look at these throws here in a second. So just to recap Nuss, I want him to fast start. I want him to have a fast start, not to start slow. So how do you go about that? Well, ball out quickly, challenge them vertically, utilize your legs off of play actions and design rollouts, and make tough NFL-style throws. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at Arkansas's defense. We'll get some clips against Tennessee and what they're able to do well against Nico. And then we'll look at the throws that we want to see that we want to see Nuss make against Arkansas. All right, so we're going to look at a few clips of Arkansas's defense, just 2 actually, and then we'll look at a few clips of Garrett Nussmeier against Ole Miss. So it's broadcast footage, so I do apologize. I have to slow it down. It's not the best quality, but it's a good job getting the point across. So Arkansas's main keys on defense, they want to keep everything in front. They want to try to confuse the quarterback. Against Nico, they had 7 sacks. It's not just the sacks that are important, it's the decision-making, right? There's decision-making, the missed throws that maybe are there. Now, we can't see the footage here, but this is a good job by Arkansas's defense, is keeping everything in front, not letting a big play happen. You see Nico has time. He has time. He's looking. Little delayed blitz here. He's looking the entire time, and he's just not able to complete the pass. Again, we don't have the all-22 right here with us, so we're missing the whole field. But good example of Arkansas keeping the ball in front. And this next clip is end of the game. Tennessee's driving. Arkansas only brings 3. They drop 8. And you'll see a receiver is open, and Nico just misses the receiver. So I think this is a good example of when you've gotten pressure on a quarterback all night, and again, they had 7 sacks on Nico, eventually can lead to bad missed throws like it does here. Like that's a throw Nico should make. That's a throw Nussmeier will make and will hit. But when you have gotten sacked 7 times, that can affect a quarterback, right? So again, an example of Arkansas just bringing 3. Now I know it's situational football, so they're dropping 8, less than 20 seconds left in the game. But you'll see Arkansas drop 8 as well. We talked about Arkansas having strategic blitzes. They'll also drop 7 or 8 guys and try to confuse the quarterback. So if you're Nussmeier, let's look at some of the throws that you need to make to have success. So the first clip is going to be an example of Nuss moving through the pocket, stepping up in the pocket, and delivering an NFL-type throw to, I believe it's Lacey here. Now, I want to see Nuss use his legs a bit more in play action, some rollouts, but even if it's just maneuvering the pocket, he's really good at it. Great pocket feel. Now, when you combine the pocket feel of Nuss with the offensive line that LSU has, that typically leads to a good protected quarterback. Good throw by Nuss. Again, NFL-type throw, maneuvering in the pocket. Key number 2, I want to challenge Arkansas vertically if I'm LSU and I'm Garrett Nussmeier. Now, we talked about Arkansas only having, or not really giving up any big plays. We talked about Nico only having 4 completions where the ball was thrown 10 yards or more in the air. And one of those completions, the only 20-yard plus completion where the ball was thrown in the air, was at the end of the game on a rollout whenever he escaped. So I want to challenge them vertically. So this is an example of Ole Miss only bringing 3, like the clip we just saw of Arkansas. They only bring 3. If you only bring 3 against Nuss and the offensive line is able to protect, which they are, he's going to be able to pick you apart. So you got to try to confuse him somehow, some way. Now here's a good example of Nuss pushing the ball downfield. Now against Ole Miss, he was 4-16 on these type of throws, so he was off, but you still hit 4 throws, and they were big throws like this. So I want to challenge Arkansas's DBs to see if they can defend my wideouts. Again, Nuss could be the best quarterback they face all year, and you could have the best wideouts Arkansas faces all year. Key number 3, get the ball out quickly to your slot receivers. Here's the game-winning touchdown pass to Anderson, right? And this is an NFL-style throw. If you looked at the behind the center angle, you would see that Anderson's covered when Nuss throws the ball. So it's a perfect example of what it looks like to throw a receiver open. Boom, right here. Throws the ball. He throws the receiver open. Again, we can't see because of the broadcast footage, but he's able to get the ball out quickly, throws the receiver open, and get it to Anderson. So I want to see Nuss get the ball out to his slot guys, see if the slot guys can beat Arkansas's DBs one-on-one. But if you're an LSU fan, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. One, what do you want to see from Nuss? And 2, what are the keys for success? Now, we're just talking about the quarterback perspective, and so I get there's a bunch of other keys defensively, your running game, special teams, I get it. But let me know your thoughts on what you want to see from Nussmeier. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, we're just a big SEC quarterback hub, so please consider subscribing to the channel. Like, share the video. It helps us grow. We appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.